In Scrabble, luck of the draw can be a big deal. Even Nigel Richards loses a quarter of his games. And when a tournament comes down to that final game for all the marbles, it can be deflating when the tile draws are really lopsided. But on the other hand, there's nothing like a tournament deciding game that's neck and neck the entire way, with huge swings from one player to the other and back again. That's exactly what happened in the final game of the prestigious Niagara Falls tournament in 2023 between number 1 ranked North American player Mack Meller and fellow top expert Max Panitch. In the final round of the 22-game event, Mack was at the top of the standings, but despite taking 2 forfeit losses due to travel issues, Max somehow fought his way into contention and would win the tournament if he could take Mack down, which he had already done twice in rounds 19 and 20. Mack opens the game with a blank, but also both B's and an H, and he plays Bob for 14. Max dumps vowels with Chow hooking Bobo, and Mack draws a V, which delays him from bingoing for another turn. He plays V for 14, leaving EHN blank, which will pair nicely with the open C of Chow. Max exchanges 5 tiles, while Mack draws a U, giving him slightly unwieldy letters. He has 1 playable bingo here, and Mack being Mack, he spots it, Ulacon for 74 points, giving him a solid lead. Max answers with Trill to the triple, and Mack draws low point tiles, including another U and duplicated N's. Without a good scoring play or a bingo available, he plays Un for 13, hoping that with the right draw, he'll either play a 7 with an S in starting or middle position, or maybe something ending in RS alongside Ulacon. That spot quickly gets blocked with a high-scoring X play from Max. Note that Max could have simply played Lex here instead of Ilex, but he tacked the I on for just 1 extra point, suggesting perhaps he's struggling with vowels, especially another I. While Mack draws the helpful E, he also picks a duplicate A, which forces him into a second straight tricky situation with low point tiles. With extremely low scoring options that maximize his bingo chances, as well as higher scoring options that blow up his rack, and give Max strong counterplay to boot, he opts for a safer middle ground of OR for 16, scoring decently and still leaving a solid set of tiles for next turn. The suspicion of Max having vowels is confirmed by his next play of Liriope, which looks great to dump 4 vowels in 1 move. However, Mack's rack has run into some issues with duplicated A's and E's. There's only 1 8-letter bingo that can be made with this rack, and fortunately, the letter required is a P. True to form, Mack spots it and plays Safine for 76 to jump even further ahead. Max is still struggling with his draws as he dumps the WU combination with war, a great word to add to your repertoire if you're looking to improve. Mack's post-bingo draw forces him into a difficult choice. Despite drawing the Q and U together, he's got very few options to play the Q here. Chi for 21 would leave him with a clunky mess for next turn. The only other realistic choice is Squeg for 30. This opens up a triple, but it's not going to be that easy for Max to use the G in that position, and getting rid of the Q now while a good scoring play exists for it is quite appealing. Computer simulation approves and suggests that Mack is 91% to win here. Max isn't going quietly, as he's drawn the second blank and he spots the only 7-letter bingo on his rack here of Morular for 72, a very nice find. Now the board has openings everywhere, including 2 triple-triple possibilities, and Mack draws triplicated T's. Rather than slog through these awful letters on such an open board, he opts to exchange, and he makes a very savvy choice, keeping just the O. You wouldn't normally keep an O on an exchange, but Mack recognizes the huge skew towards consonants in the unseen tiles and knows that vowel could be critical. Max responds with Fees hooking Silex for 23. This is a really interesting move as those same letters play through the A of Morular for 9 more points. It seems likely that Max is looking to leave the board as wide open as possible, and he almost certainly has another E and S on his rack. So, while Max certainly wants to block one of the open triple lanes, his best way of doing so would be something like Wold for 34, leaving the ugly FIV. But because he cleverly kept the O on his previous move, Mack has Flow in the upper left for 56 points, an improvement of 22 over Wold. Given that the score of the game has become close again, a triple-triple is far from the only way Mack can lose here, and he needs those extra 22 points badly. Unfortunately for Mack, a triple-triple is exactly what happens here, as Max plays Sentries for 122. All of a sudden, the engine believes Max is an overwhelming favorite to win, a massive swing from just a few turns earlier. And it gets worse, as Mack has drawn absolute dreck from the bag after Flow. He's forced to play Jivey for 29, leaving at least a semblance of a synergistic leave. From Max's perspective, the greatest threat on the board is the S of Sentries, where an 8-letter bingo would hit the triple word score. So he wisely blocks it with Plonk for 22. Meanwhile, Mack gets a little help in the form of the Z, but there's no obvious place to score with it, and the situation seems grim. But as he notes in his commentary on the game, prior to Max's play of Plonk, he had been daydreaming that maybe he'll somehow give me a K in a good spot. And when Max incredibly does exactly that, it allows Mack to play the mind-blowing Tzadik for 69 points, surging back into the lead and leaving just one tile in the bag. Now on the wrong end of yet another huge swing in momentum, Max makes a good play here of dicing for 23, hooking Uni. This play will win the game if Mack has managed not to draw the final unseen vowel in the A, as it'll give Max Gat hooking Oft as a solid scoring outplay that Mack will struggle to block while also scoring well. But Mack has the A, and both players play a perfect endgame, with Mack first finding the stylish Matin for 39, and after Max's Doug, follows up with Tire to end the game, en route to a 443 to 396 win. In Scrabble, you don't always get a well-fought, dramatic game to finish a tournament off, but this game more than lived up to that billing. In the end, it was another big multi-day regional win for Mack and another reminder of his incredibly impressive Scrabble abilities. Mack is an incredibly impressive Scrabble content creator as well, and in my video about him last week, I promised you all a bonus video if we could get Mack to 3,000 subscribers, which you all did and then some. So I hope you enjoyed this extra video, and thank you again for supporting Scrabble content on YouTube. Hey everybody, one more thing before we end today's video. If you are watching this video shortly after its release, odds are very good that I am live streaming on my YouTube channel right now, bringing you live coverage of the MGI International Scrabble Classics from the UK, featuring many of the strongest players, not just in the UK, but in the world. So if you have a few minutes, come stop by, say hello, watch some amazing Scrabble. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Hope to see you there.